Hey there, this is the Natural One. This is a part 2 to The Adventures of Tink, or The Origins of Tink, and is part of the disaster storyline that I did with Caitlin a very long time ago. To catch yourself up, I recommend you go to part 1, but without further ado, let's get on with the show. Tink stood proudly over the corpse of the assumed mutant. Its body now mangled, completely destroyed by a very well-placed bolt shell through its chest. The fact that it had been sitting on the table originally before it started twitching and approximately was 2 feet away from him didn't exactly take too much away from the glorious feeling of victory, as he had once now believed he had prevented any such chaotic incursions or, dare I say, demonic possessions. I felt quite smug then. I thought I'd outsmarted the DM, until I started hearing the click, click, click of the black onyx staff that the mutant had originally been holding, clicking across the tiled floor of the impromptu morgue. My eyes locked with Calzone. I wished beyond hope at that one moment that he would have enough sense to realize what a demon was when he heard it. He didn't. With a rather puzzled look, I yelled at him to run. Tink accidentally did this in binary at first, but he could tell that I was extremely scared, and, well, those of you that play 40k, you know what a demonic possession can be like. In an Only War campaign, a single demonic possession can easily wipe out your entire squad, and I personally didn't want to figure out what our chances were as 2 lone work associates, who one of which was better suited as an engineer and the other of which really was just a walking, talking telephone. Calzone began to run in a rather confused manner as the staff started to slowly pick up pace as I tried to start explaining to Calzone exactly what was happening right at the moment. He got the gist of it, mostly. What then ensued was essentially 5 minutes of me trying to shoot the staff with my bolt gun, Calzone having to make continuous cardiovascular checks, and praying to the God Emperor that we at least wouldn't die in our first session. Needless to say, the rest of the camp had no clue what the hell was going on. We began to realize that this was really not getting us anywhere, that one of us would have to touch it, as the staff was actually gaining momentum, and Calzone was not exactly the most athletic of the party. So, we formed a plan. I would reach out and grab it with my mechadendrites, and then Calzone would draw out his force sword and slice the demonic staff in 2. My luck does not work that way. I took a faceplant into the earth and saw, pathetically, as the staff rolled away faster and faster from me, and it was between 2 of my mechadendrites. I quickly yelled at Calzone to cut it in half, and it was a magnificent cut, brilliant form, and it went straight through my arm. At which point, I think I called his mother a toaster. Or was it his grandfather? One of the 2. Mechadendrites and arms are expensive, and with a few last-minute adjustments, we managed to at least get the force sword in the direction of the staff, finally shattering in 2, with a scream of "Meow!" from the staff in the most maniacal, evil way the DM could muster. Both of us sat down after that and realized we were far over our head with this shit. Tink had dealt with tech heresy in the past, but that's usually Xeno's tech. He wasn't equipped exactly to deal with demons, and an astropath, being a walking, talking telephone, doesn't really qualify as the best anti-demon equipment. What made things worse was we realized that there were several hundreds more of these creatures, presumably also with more demonic staffs, out in the forest, dividing us from the light frigate we were trying to recover, and presumably several more in the frigate itself. We looked to our guard and our sergeant, Billis, our personal Tempestus Scion, who was supposed to be ensuring that Calzone and I were supposed to be reasonably safe, who currently was laughing in the corner. We did some poking around about people who might have an inkling about demonic things. I talked to some of my tech priest buddies, while Calzone looked for anybody else who was psychic. Unfortunately, in this camp, we found out that the last few psykers were actually murdered. A few of them had their heads explode, but many more were actually targeted by whatever those blue-birded mutants were. And they knew who to target, killing off astropaths, psykers, and really anybody that would really know how to work a long-range Vox. It was a bit strange, and it was a bit sad that we couldn't pull up anything better than that. However, I had a bit better luck, as I talked to a few Skitarii who mentioned there was another tech priest who was actually out there, who went by the name T3N-773, or as his other tech priest called him, 10. When we asked where he was exactly, they kind of gave a sheepish shrug, pointing towards where the ship was. Apparently, he was with the last long-range patrol to go explore the ship, and if we wanted to talk to him, we would have to go there in person, because Vox communications weren't going through. Calzone, me, and the sergeant, a DM NPC, came together and we discussed the situation. We both agreed that this was far above us. We came to the conclusion that if we wanted to get to the bottom of this and have any chance of getting our prize, that we needed A, backup, and B, to figure out the source of these creatures and what they were exactly. I would prioritize myself with gathering a small crew to go out and find this 10, to examine the strange disc, and to come to a better idea of what this demonic creature was and what these mutants were, while Calzone would go to the astropathic choir and call for help. He did a little bit too well, though. You see, when you're an astropath, you don't really get to decide who your message goes out to. Calzone rolled a natural 1, the best roll you can get in this game, when he was sending out his message saying we needed help. And it went to the best possible person we could ever ask for, who was also the worst possible person we could ever ask for. Calzone sent an astral projection of himself to a young psyker who, after hearing his message, asked a man named Inquisitor Stormcloak if they were within reach of our system. Calzone didn't quite realize what he had just done, and when Tink had found out what he had just called to come and check on us, there was a bit of a panic. You see, the Inquisition isn't exactly very good at figuring out who's guilty or not. It's kind of a series of how guilty you are to them. And from what I understood, we just called the Ordo Malleus. If we didn't clear up this mess before they came, we were very likely to find a bolt pistol to our skull and a shallow grave before us. So, panicked, I sent all of my heretical projects with a servo skull to hide in the nearby mountains, and I double-timed our efforts to get a caravan to go find 10. We needed answers to send back to our rogue trader, but I would be damned if I'd let some damn Inquisitor find me guilty of heresy, which admittedly I was guilty of, but Tink had no intention of being shot this day. And with a quick estimation from Calzone, we had approximately 48 hours. Hey there! If you've enjoyed this, I have good news for you. I have just started up a Discord because, well, I finally got enough subscribers to make it worthwhile. If you want to meet other people with the community, you want to meet some of my friends, talk to me, think of some ideas with me, or hell, if you have a few episode ideas yourself, go right to the description down below. My Discord link is there, and, well, I hope to be seeing you soon. And, as usual, I'll see you in the next video.